I'm not. You muted. Hi, everybody.
Hey,
Doesn't
guys.
even talk to me.
Hey, Kaz. Let me get Jim a link real quick. I am blind tonight.
My computer's decided to play.
Maybe I no longer need glasses. Hey, everyone. All right. And I'm going to have to take my eyeballs off tonight. I can't see. How are you, Kaz?
Do you really want to know?
I really want to know.
Well, I've only got, I had a shocking migraine. I still have a shocking migraine. I'm only here because of my love for you and for everybody else.
I know. I love you, Kazi.
I love you too.
All right, so Jim is coming up. I wasn't going to go on cam tonight, but I'm like, okay, let's do this. Hey, Judy. I really think I'm going blind, guys.
Oh, you and I both. I cannot read chat. Hang on a minute. I'm going to have to.
Yeah, let me go get my other eyeballs real quick.
Well, I'll stay. I won't go off camera then while she's going to get her other eyeballs. Hi, Alyssa. Oh, thank you, darling. Yeah, Alyssa, I've been suffering some chronic migraines. I ended up in hospital last week, and I don't want to go back there again. Hi, human animal.
Ah, I can see.
Hey, Andy, how are you, darling? Andy's
okay, did we figure out the Zoom, Kaz?
Don't ask me, darling. I'm in Australia. Your Zoom and my Zoom are totally different.
Yeah, we have the Zoom number. It's in the description.
It's in the night bot, but I can also run the banner so it runs across the bottom of the screen also, which I will do so everybody can see it. There you go. That's if you want to come via the Zoom, you can just ring that number, enter the Zoom meeting ID code and press the hash key, and you can join the live. I'll just give everybody a few seconds to be able to read that.
Kaz, do me a favor. Send me this link in Discord real quick so I can send it to Jim on text message. I don't think he saw it in the room.
Okay. Un momento. I'll just go off camera a sec.
Sorry, guys. I went to the fireworks and I was running home like a mad job. Okay, well, that's not the one we want. Hang on one sec. So this is Lou Skunk. Hey, you're on the camera, buddy. They can all see you licking your nuts. You're being dirty. You're on the camera, buddy. They can all see you licking your nuts. You're being dirty. Turn your YouTube off, please, Lou Skunk. You're on the camera, buddy. They can all see you licking your nuts.
Hello, can everybody hear me?
Hello, Lou Skunk.
First of all, let me say thank you for having me on this program tonight. Many people are not aware of who I am, and I want to make my identity and my involvement in this case extremely upfront and honest with all of your listeners. My name is Lou Skunk. I am a representative of Mr. James Terry, one of the top private investigators in the country, based out of Biloxi, Mississippi. Mr. Terry, as you know, has received a cease and desist order through various media types. Mr. Terry has advised me that I do have some leeway to come on this program and address these matters, which I wanted to do here tonight for you and all your listeners. I will take calls. I will talk to people in the chat. And no question is out of bounds. Now, Mr. Terry will be joining us later tonight. I'm being told in roughly 8 to 10 minutes he is on his way in. Mr. Terry has advised me that I can speak on his behalf here and answer any and all questions regarding the cease and desist order. Ladies, thank you for having me.
It's nice to have you again, Mr. Skunk.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Welcome to the panel, Mr. Skunk.
Thank you. I'm currently in El Paso, Texas. I am only just a few miles outside of El Paso, Texas. A lot of people, I believe, tonight are enjoying the fireworks, as you guys are. We're still a few hours off here, but I am very looking forward to speaking to everybody here at your program tonight. I have been on other programs, but I'd like to address everything that's going on. So if you would, please, questions, or if you'd like to read the said cease and desist order, I would like to go over it with you for the people here on the program for the first time.
Okay.
Certainly, Mr. Skunk.
Thank you.
Ma, what are you doing?
I'm putting my phone in the window for a good connection.
Ladies, Mr. Terry is on his way. His time is limited on this holiday weekend. There is a lot going on, and I have a sock drawer I need to rearrange. So can we please get on with the cease and desist order, please? I have a prepared statement here from Mr. Terry in regards to this cease and desist order that's become national news around the country. Thank you.
Go ahead, Mr. Skunk.
Are we going to read the cease and desist order, ma'am?
Yes.
A little preparation in this program goes a long way. Just to let you guys know, while you're getting out the cease and desist order, Mr. Terry has advised me. He has advised me right here on this program while you're getting that cease and desist order ready, that there is a PayPal. This PayPal is extremely important, and let me tell you why. Mr. Terry has advised me, and I have let this information out on the programs, but I will share it. I will share this information with your listeners tonight. You know, Mr. Terry has been a champion for animals throughout the United States of America and is currently in the process of developing a rescue farm for Pomeranians. Are we aware of what a Pomeranian is, ma'am?
Yes, we are.
Pomeranians are extremely furry chihuahuas. They are also the most abused animal under 8 pounds. Chihuahuas, Mr. Terry is using his funding to open up a Chihuahua and a Pomeranian rescue in central Mississippi. Very important. The PayPal is here, and it will show throughout the chat room should people be so inclined to donate a few shekels to the cause. Now, not sure what's going on there, ma'am. It seems like you might have a little bit of the COVID. Do we have the COVID in Australia?
We do. It's very bad at the moment, actually, Mr. Skunk.
Yeah, people are sneezing, they're coughing. I'm not sure what's going on. Can Mr. Skunk, before we read the cease and desist order, explain to you how he has avoided the COVID for so long?
We're listening.
Mr. Skunk has been able to avoid the COVID by drinking his own urine. If you drink your own urine, you do not get COVID. Now, you might need a few Tic Tacs, but that's another story. Drinking your own urine prevents the COVID. Let's read the cease and desist order, please. Mr. Terry's time is limited. He is on his way. He will answer all questions, including, from what I am to understand, are new developments in the case, including Dylan Round's father having left town today. He has left the state. That will be discussed with Mr. Terry on this program, in the chat, and he will take live calls, as I will. The live number is up. I will take your calls. We will discuss this. I have a prepared statement. Mr. Terry is moments away. Guys, cease and desist order, please. Please. Thank you.
Kaz, do you have it?
Hang on, Ma, I'm choking to death.
I'm not sure what is happening here. I'm not sure what's happening. A little preparation would have been in order.
Who did you send it to, Mr. Skunt?
Listen, Mr. Skunk has never sent a cease and desist order to anybody. The cease and desist order is out there. It was on several media outlets. The cease and desist order is very interesting. I thought you guys would have it. We'd read it on the program here, as I was instructed you to do.
Well, you need to tell Jim P.I. that he should have sent it to me.
Okay, so you bitches don't have it. So let's get into the story. Mr. Terry, through media outlets, has been sent a cease and desist order not to work on the Dylan Rounds case anymore, not to talk about the Dylan Rounds case anymore. But as his representative and able to speak on his behalf, I will let some information go here tonight. Mr. Terry will address that. But what I want to speak with both of you about right now is Pomeranians and PayPal. Make sure you take that log it in, take care of your business, a little offering for the plate. Ladies, we have seen the cease and desist order, have we not? You know what I'm referring to, even if you don't have it in front of you.
I do have it in front of me. Sorry, Mrs. Skunk. I was choking to death. I do apologize for
Yes, I'm not sure what type of ailment you have, ma'am, but a little urine might go a long way. Ma'am, please read it in Australia.
I'll pass. Thank you.
By the way, Australia is a great country for criminals. Thank you.
All right, I'll just share my screen, Mrs. Skunk, and show them. One moment.
Please read it. Please read it,
I
Kat.
will, sir.
Please read it, ma'am. Thank you.
He just wants to hear your Aussie accent.
Yeah, I know. As long as it don't choke too much.
Hey, Iconic.
Okay.
Who is in here? Let me see.
Yes, I want to program. Correct.
I saw Nana.
I'm just spooling. Okay, we have it up on the screen. I'll just make it bigger for you.
Go ahead and start reading the cease and desist order so I can get into this. Mr. Terry is on his way. As you know, Mr. Terry is a busy man on this holiday weekend. He has many shows to go on, including a show tomorrow night that will change the YouTube universe. Ladies, please, the cease and desist order. Let's read it, please. Thank you.
Okay, Mrs. Skunk, if you would just mind cease talking, I will get on with it. It is from Swafford Law PC. It is from a PO box at Idaho Falls. It was dated June 30th, 2022. It says it was sent overnight mail on July 1st, 2022, and it was addressed to Mr. James M. Perry, Gulf Coast Investigation in Palm Harbor, Florida. And it states, Dear Mr. Terry, my office has been retained by the Rounds and Cooley families to send this letter to you and demand that you immediately cease and desist your continued non-authorized involvement in the Dylan Rounds case. You have made malicious, unfounded, and incorrect statements and have made verbal and written attacks on the Rounds and Cooley families. Your continued, unauthorized, malicious, false, and inflammatory statements are defamatory and subject you to payment of damages to my clients. Your actions are diverting the focus from finding Dylan Rounds to what appears to be your own personal vendetta and/or to promote yourself at the expense of the truth. You are interfering with and undermining the investigation of Dylan Rounds' disappearance. You are damaging the integrity and the effectiveness of the entire investigation by your unauthorized and misformed actions, both publicly and privately, concerning the investigation. The family of Dylan Rounds immediately demands you cease and desist with any further actions, verbal and/or written, pertaining to the investigation of Dylan Rounds, there's a grammatical error there, disappearance. Your failure to stop all further action, verbal and/or written, will result in the filing of legal action against you. The family of Dylan Rounds do not want to waste their time, resources, and energy with any further action against you in this matter, and therefore request your immediate compliance. Your background and record of services has confirmed your lack of credibility and integrity. This has further been demonstrated by your actions in this matter since your release from this matter. And it is then stated, we further demand you send to me any legal counsel for the Dylan Rounds family, all recordings, memorandi, notes, and your complete file on this matter. Very truly yours, Ronald L. Swafford.
Now, thank you for reading that, ma'am. Thank you. I'm glad you were able to get through that. Now, please do me a favor. Go to the top of that. I'd like to know if I wanted to respond, or maybe if he wanted to send me in his legal representative. Where is their office located? Can you please give me the address? to the
I
law
certainly will.
offices of Swafford, please.
Yes, it would. The address is a post office box. I'll bring it back up again. I'm sorry, I should have stated that in the beginning.
Yes.
It is post office box 1745, Idaho Falls, Idaho 83403.
So this is a law firm based out of a P.O. box in the great state of Idaho. There is several people in the office. Would you please do me the favor? Would you please do Mr. Skunk the favor of listing the names of the people on there, the attorney and his said co-worker?
Assistants, I certainly will. The attorney at law is stated as being Ronald L. Swafford, attorney at law.
Okay.
Twinkie Swafford, legal assistant, and Sloven Gifford, legal assistant.
I'm sorry, the paralegal's name one more time for all of the people in Australia that didn't quite understand your accent, ma'am. One more time, the paralegal's name?
Twinkie.
Twinkie.
Now, I would like to make a little bit of a statement here.
I love that name, Twinkie.
Yes, ma'am, I can tell you would. Now, listen, I would like to prepare a little statement here that I've gone over just for a few short seconds before Mr. Terry arrives. I've also been authorized for you guys on this program here tonight to get ready to take phone calls. Mr. Skunk will take a few phone calls before Mr. Terry's arrival. So if you want to get that number ready now so that we don't have any more delays, let's have that ready to go. But I will tell you this. Mr. Terry has given me carte blanche here on the program to explain to everybody in the chat room listening around what is called the World Wide Web, to let everybody know that we take all legal notices very seriously, especially when they come from a P.O. box and an attorney in the great state of Idaho. We also take said legal documents extremely seriously when they come from a law office where one of the paralegals goes by the name Twinkie. So what we want to tell everybody here today is that we are looking into this. Mr. Terry has yet to receive any paperwork. He has yet to receive any sort of email. His phone number is available. And what else is available for Mr. Terry here tonight is his PayPal. Now, questions, concerns, ladies, before Mr. Terry gets here, which he has limited time.
Sorry, Matt, I'm choking again.
Somebody tell her to turn her microphone on. I don't know what's going on here tonight. Too many Seagrams or something. This is what happens when a woman in her 60s drinks wine coolers.
I'll have you know, Mr. Skunk, I may be 64, but I don't drink and I don't like being referred to.
I was talking about your friend here, ma'am.
Hey, I'm not 64.
The microphone is now working. Any questions tonight for Mr. Skunk?
No, sir, I think you said quite enough.
I mean,
nobody
knows.
Without the call-in number, ma'am, it might help. I mean, I don't want to monopolize the show here. You're not letting me get a word in edgewise. It might help to give the number out.
The number's out, Mr. Skunk.
Thank you.
I can't make people call, but let me go make a banner for you.
Now, Mr. Skunk has looked into this law firm. Phone calls have rung into my office and to my cell phone. And basically what they have told me is that the lawyer in this case, who is in his 70s, has been struggling possibly with dementia for several years. There has also been some question as to whether his wife, Twinkie, is actually acting like legal counsel despite not having any sort of law background. Phone number, please. Let's get to the calls. Mr. Terry is moments away.
We're waiting. Kaz is on the Zoom. We're waiting for a phone call.
Ladies, do you have any questions about the case? Do you have any questions about the cease and desist? Is there any questions from the panel?
Do you have any questions, Kaz?
No, I have none. But
so what are Jim's plans to do with the cease and desist? Obviously, he's not going to stop talking about Dylan's case, right?
Well, that's a very good question, ma'am, and very, very well thought out here in our offices, something that I've pondered. Mr. Terry has answered that question in the prepared statement here. Mr. Terry has said that if he does receive the said cease and desist order, he will immediately go down to Kinko's. And when he goes down to Kinko's, he will then copy and make 150 versions of the cease and desist order and use them for the next 3 days to wipe his ass with them. Thank you.
So anybody want to come up and talk to Mr. Skunk?
A lot of people say that Alzheimer's is a horrible disease, but if this attorney does have it, chances are he doesn't remember sending the cease and desist. Thank you.
You are so bad, Mr. Skunk.
Any questions for Mr. Skunk? Mr. Terry is moments away, ladies. Ladies, is there any super chat? Is there any stickers? Has any questions been asked?
No, there's no questions for you, Mr. Skunk.
That's what I like to hear. Mr. Terry is moments away. Any other questions for now or ever hold your peace? I will be on other programs throughout the evening. I will be dealing with this matter until it is dealt with in its entirety.
I don't know why they're afraid of you.
Ladies, have you ever heard of a law firm represented, which is the address is a P.O. box? Has that ever been heard of before?
Well, yes, they do use P.O. boxes, but they also have a physical address on the letterhead as well. It's hardly unusual just to have a post office box.
Highly unusual. Almost as unusual as having a licensed business in the state of Mississippi and having paperwork sent to a family address in Florida. Could you imagine the hypocrisy behind that?
We have a question for you. Kathleen says, my question is, have you talked to the psychic medium that's working this case and just had a phone call with Kurt himself and done a reading for him? Reverend Donna.
That's correct. Yes, I have reached out to the psychic. I was surprised it didn't cost me $1.99 a minute. But what I will tell you about that psychic, we talked for 20 straight minutes about who would win the Super Bowl this year. If there is a psychic out there that would like to talk to Mr. Skunk, I will talk to you. I'm not interested in talking to you about the case, but what I do want to know is who you think will win the Super Bowl. And just to let you know, that psychic told Mr. Skunk on a phone call today, Kansas City Chiefs will win their Super Bowl this year by 30 points over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Thank you.
Well, let me see, here we go. Raul says, will Mr. Skunk take this all the way to the Supreme Court?
Mr. Skunk has looked into several avenues should it get to that point. And at this point, the Supreme Court does look like a good idea.
Now, didn't Mr. Skunk tell me earlier that the other man from the Gold Coast place gave him a phone call looking for Jim?
Mr. Terry will discuss that. Mr. Terry has been in contact with a company in Gulfport, Mississippi called Gulf Coast Investigation of Mississippi. Now, don't forget, Mr. Terry's business is Gulf Coast Investigation. The business called was Gulf Coast Investigation of Mississippi. That's why when you look at business licenses, you don't see them. They were a very reputable company. They were very pressed by Mr. Terry, and they had quite a long conversation. I can produce that man on future programming if that is something you desire. Next question. Thank you.
Any more questions for Mr. Skunk? Hey, Jess. No, Cass does not look anything near 60. And I'm not 60, Mr. Skunk. Okay, I'm in my 50s, but please be nice.
Hard to tell with the hair down.
I'm trying to hide my oldness. Gotta hide the wrinkles on the neck, you know.
Well, a scarf would work wonders, ma'am. Thank you.
It's 80 degrees out. I'm not wearing a scarf. Humanimal, hello.
Now, Mr. Skunk does want to tell the listeners and all the viewers that he is a giant animal fan himself. Mr. Terry's Pomeranian Rescue will be up and operational, but can somebody please explain to me what this rat is doing in the corner here? Who is this rat?
Okay. Now, this is Kaz and my little godchild, Aurora. And unfortunately, little Aurora has passed away and moved on to the Rainbow Bridge. But she will always be our little channel mascot.
That's fantastic. I was on another channel earlier today trying to get called into Blowhorn Betty, and I believe their mascot.
brother.
Yes, and I believe their mascot is a Hostess cupcake and a cockroach. Thank you.
So JLR too. Jim is going to talk about JLR calling and going to the Gold Coast and calling his father at the record store or something.
Yes. There was a fellow that showed up at Mr. Terry's father's business, a business been around over 40 years in Palm Harbor, Florida, taught many a musician. It's actually a school as well. This man showed up there looking for Mr. Terry for questions regarding the cease and desist order. And like Mr. Terry has said on other programs, and I will say here, this fellow should be going around the state of Florida looking for his teeth. Thank you. Moments away, ladies. The phone calls, are they going nowhere?
Kathleen says, does Mr. Terry have any proof of a relationship going on, or should I say went on a homosexual relationship between Kurt and Dylan? When Jim gets on the show, before we start, I'm going to tell everyone in here where I stand on this case. Because some people get mad when Jim comes around, but we'll talk about that when Jim gets here. Blowhorn's mascot is a little skunk.
Ma'am, I need to get a word in edgewise. Mr. Terry is calling at this moment. Hold on 1 second, please. Please. This is Lou.
Oh, yes, Kathleen.
Yes, please. Park near my mom's car. Yes. And near the fire hydrant, please. Okay. Yeah. No, she's gone tonight. I'm in the basement, my bedroom. Please. Shut the door. Don't let that dog out. I will let them know. Yes, I did mention the Pomeranian rescue. 2 women. Both seem to be wheezing, coughing. Yes, I will let them know about the urine. Mr. Terry is on his way, moments away. He will address Kathleen Williams' question, so please keep that up there until Mr. Terry comes. Ladies, I have stayed long enough. I have other commitments on YouTube channels. Ladies, I will be on Oh No Investigates or something of this nature later on tonight. If anybody wants to jump over there after Mr. Terry.
We'll drop the link at the end.
Mr. Terry thinks the world of both of you ladies.
So I dropped a StreamYard, guys. If anybody wants to come on StreamYards, or if you want to call in on Zoom, you guys can take your choice. You don't have to go on camera on StreamYards. We'll make sure that we let you know it's on or off backstage. Hey, look I think Jim Terry's going to teleport right in. Hang on a second.
Wait a second.
The aliens are coming down and letting him go.
Yes, Mr. Skunk needs to go. I don't believe that's aliens. I believe those are police cars and possibly sirens. Guys, God bless, and I will see you later. Mr. Terry is moments away. Thank you. I have to go unlock the door for him. Thank you.
You okay over there, Kaz? You know what? Let me try to call in on the Zoom and see if it works. Kaz, are you controlling the Zoom? Kaz ran away. Mr. Skunk made her choke. Yeah, we just got the Zoom today, guys, so we were still trying to figure it out. But that's it. It's the Gong Show, CC Ryder. You're absolutely correct. And then we're going to do the dating game.
Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, I'll call you later.
There he is.
Hey,
guys. Mr.
I
Jim.
am so sorry. I was a little bit late coming to the program. I stopped off at 7-Eleven to get some Twinkies. They're very hard to find, believe it or not, but I was able to procure a few Twinkies. I will have them here in the program tonight. Very busy weekend. How's everybody's holiday going?
Great. Did you go see any fireworks tonight?
No, I didn't. I was a little bit busy doing other radio shows, guys. It has ramped up. I can't tell you how many phone calls I'm getting from not only YouTube people. It is the talk of the industry. And tomorrow night, guys, and this is very serious, tomorrow night I will absolutely release a bombshell. Not about this case, but about YouTube. And let me explain why. There has been a woman going around defaming me, defaming my business, and defaming other people on the internet. she's been able to do this, and I want to get your take on this. She's been able to do this through anonymity. Nobody knows what she looks like. Nobody knows her name. Her name is Sleuth Mom. You're aware of her, correct?
Yeah, I know Sleuth Mom, but we're not going to tell any personal information, are we?
No, not tonight. Not here.
Okay, please don't.
No. We're saving that for tomorrow night. So what's going to happen is tomorrow night I have been set up on another channel in which several people have been destroyed by this woman. One woman that actually went into the hospital because of and she'll explain the story. It's fascinating. This is no joke. And these people have all gotten together. Now, you don't know Sleuth Mom. You know her channel. No. You don't know her real name, correct?
I know nothing about her personally, and I don't want to know anything about her personally.
Correct. So nobody really knows who she is. Well, I have figured that out. And through the people that are out there that have been harmed and hurt, we're going to give her an opportunity to do the right thing tomorrow at 8 o'clock. People follow me. People contact me. They can call me. And we will go ahead and put that information out there as to where you can listen to me tomorrow. It will change the industry. By the way, ladies, I want to let you know something. In 95% of the states in the United States of America, and I don't know about Australia, but there's no such thing as doxing. Doxing is not a law. Doxing does not exist.
Jim, you are correct. But on YouTube, it is against the terms and conditions of people who have channels like Ma does, that if we allowed you to do that on Ma's channel, Ma could get struck and Ma's channel could get taken down. So you've got to understand, even if she came for Ma, we wouldn't allow anything to be said against anybody on Ma's channel, because Ma's channel would have to pay the repercussions of it.
Well, what's interesting is...
Yeah, we don't do the drama and the sides. No. I'm going to say this. Yeah. People are like, oh, Jim is coming on Mars show. People are going to unsub. They get mad. But listen, I'm on Dylan's side. I want to know what happened to Dylan. Honestly,
so go ahead and ask your question.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm waiting.
Have you oh, I thought
he's going to ask me to marry him. I think we lost him.
I'm still here.
Oh, you were going to ask a question.
No, you guys are going to ask questions. You have questions about the Dylan Rounds case. You don't want to talk about Sleuth Mom. You're not taking phone calls. What are your questions?
I'm taking phone calls.
You've got it running on the bottom for people to call
669-900-683 and 6833, and then put in the meeting ID. It's ready to go.
Call.
Anybody can call.
Do you guys
exactly,
have any questions?
DD. Well, we want to hear what's new, but I honestly think, Jim, that this is going to boil down to, like I told you a while ago, Chase Venstra and I keep calling him Eddie, Bobby Aviles. But the Wadsworth are weird. Well, I do want to hear about the Wadsworth.
Well, I think you basically got a town full of jackasses, felons, convicted rapists, sex offenders. It's not a good scene there. But from what I understand, the father left today.
What happened with that? What did you hear about that?
He packed up his truck and he left about 4 hours ago. He's got 2 other kids. He's got a farm. He's got a business. Nobody. Hey, by the way, the private investigator hasn't been able to find anything, right? No information, has been nothing but a deterrent, but both parents have now bailed. So what does that tell you? I'll tell you what that tells you. They haven't found shit. They haven't found shit.
Oh, we're not saying that you didn't find anything, Jim. You did find things, and people have put you down saying that you didn't find things, and that's not true.
You found a lot, Jim. You pulled a lot out. Honestly, I don't think without you digging like that, we wouldn't have found out a lot of the stuff that we found out.
Well, he's bailed. He's gone.
But gone where?
He went home. He went home. He went back to his home. I mean, he doesn't live in Montello. The guy's gone.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like you made it sound like he packed up and he left like Idaho.
No, he was in Nevada where the kid's place was, and he left and went back to Idaho.
Idaho Falls, right. Okay. And like you said, Jim, he's got a business to run.
Well,
And
I do
nothing's
know.
moving.
I do know as far as Chase Venstra and the other one, Chase he's going to court on the 8th, or is it the 7th of this month? And Bobby has no court date in the next 30 days.
Correct.
Yeah, so
And
that's just.
But look, what about the one thing that was going on? Who was the man? Was Brenner the man with the gun walking down the road that had the warrant in Montana?
I don't know about a man walking down the road with a warrant in Montana. What I can tell you is that Chase Venstra was walking down the road with a gun, which he should not have had because he was a felon. And that is what Ty, that fellow Ty that I call Ty the alpaca farmer, he went on another show and he explained that, and the cops let him go days before this guy went missing. If it turns out Chase Venstra does have something to do with his death or his disappearance, and a police officer let a felon with a gun go, right before this kid went missing, then we've got a problem. That doesn't look good. This could have all been avoided. I believe that 75, if not 80% of the people that are involved in this kid's disappearance and or death.
One sec, Jim.
Kathleen,
you don't need Zoom, hon. You just need a cell phone. Go ahead and just dial the number like you're going to call anybody, the 669, and then it will prompt you to put in the meeting code. You don't have to have Zoom. You just have to have a phone. Somebody wants to call in.
Are you guys not seeing the questions in the chat, or am I just seeing them before you?
Yeah, you're seeing at the moment, because of my migraine, I'm hardly seeing anything. So I'm just going to go off cam and have a look.
Kathleen can join. Just call the number. Jim, are you single? I'm asking from South. Oh, here's a question for you, Jim. Are you single?
I am not single when somebody from Southern Louisiana is asking, and let me tell you why. I've been down to Houma, Louisiana, and yeah, I have very little criteria, but I at least need 6 teeth. Thank you.
Why does it only have to be 6? You want 3 on top?
You got to have a couple to chew with in the back.
Oh, so you don't need them in the front. You just want like 2 in the back and 2 on the bottom in the front? Or 2 in the front?
That would only be 4, but yeah, definitely. Yeah, we'll take that.
Here's one for you, Jim.
Moonshine says, well, Sandra said, Jim, what do you think about the conversation with Doug and Ty?
I heard bits and pieces of it. I'm going to be on that program tonight, and we're going to break it down. I kind of like to listen to those things live on air, so I try not to listen to them 5 or 6 times because I want to be surprised. I want it to hit me. I want my reaction to be raw. Ty has been almost dead on in everything. He's contacted me from the beginning. And you mentioned the name Robert Arvelius?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Robert Arvelius' mom is currently staying with Ty at his ranch and has for weeks since his arrest, almost in protection. So I know a little bit more.
I know who his mom is. Her name starts with an E.
Well, she's staying with him.
Yeah.
So I think his conversation should be pretty interesting. I know that he had some people come through there. And hey, listen, there's a lot of people trying to attach themselves to this. There's a lot of people saying that they're journalists. There's a lot of people saying that they're, web sleuths and whatever, and they're going out there with drones and all that kind of stuff. And listen, I don't know, what's it been 40 days and nobody's found anything. The FBI are involved, and I think if anybody's going to crack the case, it's them. But guys, listen, today, and I know people joked about this, we are 1 month away from professional football in this country. 1 month away from the National Football League starting. School is going to be back. Kids are going back to band. They're going back to soccer. They're going back to cheerleading, to high school football. You're going to have kids going back to school, period. The National Football League, college football is going to start. The Bachelor is going to start. Dylan Rouse is rapidly shrinking. You look at those videos, the news isn't even covering it. In fact, the only one who's really talking about it is me, and they're trying to silence me because they don't like the fact of what I found already, which, by the way, I'm sticking by 100%.
Let me tell you something, too, I found interesting that Ellen, the bar owner, said that Dylan's land had a lot of salt in the water. Well, Miss Lucen told me that the deep well that he had, it may have had a little bit of salt, but there is no way that it would have ruined his crops after 3 years.
Say that again. You cut out.
Miss Lucen, who came on the show that lives there, remember her son, Alex, had the gun put in his face?
Yes, yes.
She told me that Dylan's deep well was not coming from Bonneville or the Great Salt Lake, that it was, where does it come from again, Kaz? You know.
Yeah, it was so deep. It was actually like spring water. So it wasn't salinized. It didn't have any salt in it. It was drinkable water.
Okay, so he had drinkable water.
Yeah.
So Anna says, what did the FBI, hang on one sec, I'll get to that one. What did the FBI find at Park Valley, wherever Utah? What led
I was told that the reason the FBI was in that town is that's the pickup spot, which I released weeks ago for Chase Venstra's father, who came and picked him up. I believe they're looking for security footage, Ring doorbell cams, or any sort of surveillance camera that shows Chase Venstra being picked up by his father in that location. Like I said, mile marker 53. It was a huge revelation that was quickly swept under the rug. It was not anything that was listened to for any great period of time. But I can tell you right now that that's probably why they were there, trying to gain surveillance footage so that they could go back and corroborate stories.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Anna, yes, we showed pictures that Miss Lucen sent us of that weekend. You could go whitewater rafting in some of those little streams.
Sure.
It was definitely that's why I wonder too if Dylan even, because Candace said Dylan walked back and forth from the grain truck to the property. I mean, the rain was so bad. Even she said that if he parked his truck there, Saturday morning, left it there, walked over to put the grain truck in, and those rains came in Sunday. She said it would have looked like it was pressure washed.
I mean, okay. And here's my question, guys, and I don't want to make it sound like I'm attacking you. Okay, so the truck was fucking pressure washed. So what? What is that? What have they? So they've known the truck's been pressure washed for over a month, and they still don't know what that means. I am so sick of this family listing the 4 or 5 things at the very beginning of this, and they haven't moved since. The truck was pressure washed. He fired a guy. Does he have a life insurance policy? The seat of the truck was moved up. There was boots in the desert. I mean, that's all they got. We're down to whether or not the water was fucking salty. Who gives a shit? Let me tell you what's important. Who was that kid dating?
Hey, Badger. They asked in chat about Eddie and James Brenner were squatting on the land that Dylan had his sea truck.
Correct. Everybody out there squatting. Everybody out there squatting. If you're not, the mother came on and said that. She says, with the exception of the few, there's 200 people out there, 74 registered sex offenders, and a shitload of people squatting. That's exactly why they were policing themselves out there. Listen to Kurt Wadsworth's interview. He even says,
I heard.
Listen, we were policing it. Oh, we don't have a vigilante group. We were just policing ourselves. Well, you know what that is if you're not law enforcement? That's a vigilante group.
But we know that also Candace Cooley did say that Dylan was in the process of buying the land that he kept his grain truck on. You don't think that causes a problem with those two squatting on that land? Hey, let's get rid of Dylan. He won't buy the land. We can just squat here, and then we'll just go and steal whatever money he's got.
The kid's walking around with $80,000. There's the closest bank is 53 miles away. You're dealing with people that are wiping their ass with their bare hand. They have no running water. We're talking about a part of the country. We're arguing whether or not they have fresh water. We're talking about a part of the country where there's nothing. Imagine the closest bank. The closest police department is 56 miles away. It'd be a lot like living in Australia.
Well, thank God you can deposit checks through your phones these days, huh?
Yeah, but you can't go get cash out, or if you have cash, you can't deposit that through your fucking phone. They put this kid in a meat grinder. I think they stuck him out there because of his lifestyle. I've heard from way too many people over the past couple of weeks. By the way, look into the attorney that's trying to send me a cease and desist order. Go ahead and look at her children.
So you think the cool that Dylan's grandparents sent him out on the farm because he might be gay?
I think the kid always wanted to be a farmer. No. I'm not saying that they sent him out there because he was gay. I'm saying that it didn't hurt the motivation to send him out there in his sophomore year of high school. See, people think he just showed up on that desert property 6 months ago. Kid was out there for a couple of years. We heard tapes. I released a tape on another program where the woman who's in a $2.6 million lien suit against this woman shows almost $3 million to a family for and there were people who are worried about me being a crook. She owes almost $2.6 million to a family. That family came on and said that this kid didn't even get his GED. He was gone by his freshman year. The grandparents bought this kid a farm, unbeknownst to the parents. I mean, I don't know if you two got kids, but if the grandparents of those children bought him a farm in the desert around a bunch of pedophiles, I'm sure you might have something to say. Or maybe you didn't mind getting him out of town. Maybe the people that he was hanging around with. By the way, where is the other set of grandparents? Where is Candace Cooley's parents? This kid has another set of grandparents. Well, let me ask you this. Where's his high school friends? Where's the girls he dated? Where's the guys he dated? Can I prove he's gay? Not anymore that you could prove he's straight.
Well, what about did you ever hear back from the one from BC that claimed he had a relationship with him?
Yes,
I did. And what happened with that?
Well, here's the deal. He went and met supposedly with the FBI. Now, Tyler Feller, even if you don't like me, talks to a lot of people. Tyler Feller started those conversations with him. The man had corresponded with me. And I don't do a lot of email or text messaging, guy. He's in Canada. He's a legitimate person. He exists. He is claiming that he has video and that he told Candace Cooley about this and that there's also another man. It's not like there's one or two guys. I don't think Kurt Wadsworth was the first. So what he is basically saying is not only, but he could prove it. And he said, I'm going to see an agent. And I'm like, an agent? Why would you need an agent? I'm thinking the guy's trying to strike a book deal or something. He meant an FBI agent. So that was supposedly Friday, and nobody has heard from him since. But guys, we've had a lot go on just over the holiday weekend. There's been no banks open, no mail, no nothing. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday will be a huge day, believe me.
So, Kaz, did you see what Kathleen said? Kathleen, do you want to come up on StreamYards? I'll send you the link.
Is Kathleen still trying to figure out how to make a fucking phone call?
Yeah, she's saying that it doesn't work for cell phones, but I've never had an issue calling on a cell phone because I tried and it worked. Click the link on the StreamYards and we'll make sure that your cameras and all that is off, hon. Try calling in, Jim.
You want me to call in your program?
Well, call in on the Zoom number.
Okay, what is it? 669
900 6833. And then the meeting ID is 24. Oh, I'll tell you when it comes by next time.
What's the meeting ID?
247 998. Uh-oh, Kaz. Kaz, are you here? I'm dyslexic, Jim. Hang on. I got to see the meeting ID again. Kaz will tell you about me and my numbers. 247
your meeting ID doesn't exist. I thought people were just going to be able to call in. Why don't these shows just take a cell phone, hit speakerphone, and take the calls?
So what was the other call that you were talking about? Something about the Wadsworth you had. I'm getting this right now. Don't worry. We got this going.
I got a phone call from the Kurt Wadsworth's daughter-in-law and his son. And of course, she has a baby that's only 2 months old, and she's trying actively to get me that mother on the phone, which her mother-in-law, which would be Kurt Wadsworth's ex-wife, because it'd be real interesting to hear her take on that tarot card reader, on that psychic that started this whole thing out. I'd like to talk to her about that. So that was the call I got. We spoke. I recorded. I got about a 26-minute call with Kurt Wadsworth's daughter-in-law. It's very interesting. You know, she says a lot of things, but I mean, how many times do I have to produce people that say the same thing over and over and over again? You know, they're talking about gay sex toys and trunks full of them, and the fact that her husband had beaten the father up over it. The fact that her brother, you know, Kurt Wadsworth's daughter-in-law, okay, you know, basically knew about the man that committed suicide in jail. And if people aren't following this, let me explain who that is. Kurt Wadsworth has a niece. That niece's brother, which would be his nephew, committed suicide in jail 2 years ago, and he listed the reason for his suicide is sexual abuse by Kurt Wadsworth the majority of his life. I can't make this shit up, and why would I? Those are the things that were discussed.
All right.
So no questions in the chat, no nothing going on, guys?
Yeah, we're going to have questions right now, guys. Here is the new meeting ID and pass. It starts in exactly 3 minutes.
Okay. And I love all the people in the chat room and all the different people that are saying I have to have this and that and this and that. They've been proven wrong on every aspect of what I do. They have no idea what they're talking about. Most of them have never owned anything in their lives. But what I can tell you is every I is dotted, every T is crossed. And if you don't believe me, well, listen, I'm right here on this show. I called up that woman's show earlier today, and all she wanted to do was talk over me. And when I nailed her on every aspect of what it was, she started going off on a tangent and yelling. Guys, at some point, we're going to move on. Currently, I'm working on a case. I got another case here the other day. It's probably not as sexy as this one, but I can tell you my phone has rung off the hook with cases. Robert Alexander Easterling out of Mississippi, Pickens, Mississippi. I'm currently working that case. His family has been very gracious to me. In fact, I have a conference call with him tomorrow at noon to go over our findings. I'm currently working on that case. And you know what? I might open up my business to more than one case. I've even talked about using an attorney in the state of Mississippi and bringing in another private investigator. By the way, you asked a very good question, I was told, and I got a text by Mr. Skunk about this moron that went to my father's business that thought he knew what he was talking about, and he called a company with a similar name.
Unbelievable. A lot of us know him from the Gabby Petito case. All right, guys, it is on.
Hold on 1 second, guys. Let me go grab a phone. Don't go anywhere because I'm looking at some text messages. I might have some questions coming in too. Hold on 1 second.
Okay. So we got the Zoom up, guys. The new meeting and password is right here, and it is going. Like I said, guys, we just got Zoom tonight, so we're a little.
Kathleen said that she tried.
This is new, guys.
Yeah, I know, darling. She said she tried, and it said that it didn't work.
Yeah, well, I just made a new one that starts right this second. I just made it.
Okay.
10 seconds
I'll just
ago.
pop that up screen so people can see it. Okay, Kathleen, can you
Joseph
try
is
that one?
asking where was Robert Aviles when Dylan went missing? Well, he was actually living in a trailer where Dylan parked his grain truck.
That is correct.
The same area where Jim James Brenner was squatting. The same area that Dylan was supposedly buying that land is what Candace Cooley said. So that he was buying the land that those two were squatting on.
Sorry, guys. I'm back. Go ahead.
No, someone was talking about where was Aviles when Dylan went missing. Probably in his trailer. Ellen said that Aviles and his mother showed up in Montello a year ago, correct? Jim?
Say that again?
Ellen, the owner of the Saddle Sore Your Tushy Hurts bar, said that Aviles and his mother showed up in Montello a year ago, and they were trouble ever since.
I mean, that's true. I mean, most of the people that showed up in those towns just waited for new money to come in. That's very true.
But what do you mean new money? What kind of new money can possibly come into that town? I'm going to call the meeting.
That's a great question. I don't think there's a lot of it. Farmers. I had 3 different farmers call me. I don't want to call them farmers. 3 different people that were going to buy land there right around the time this thing really started to flare up. And basically what they told me was, thank you, we're not going to buy land here anymore. And I says, what were you going to buy land for? And they said, we always wanted, I mean, you could get like hundreds of acres for next to nothing. And basically what they said is they wanted all this acreage out there and they were going to buy it for different things. I've had people call me that had bed and breakfasts out there. I thought that was odd. I've had people call me that they were running, Ty's an alpaca farmer. So I don't know. You'd have to ask those people. But there's definitely a lot of people that come in there. And when they do, they're parasited on by these people out there. So that might be the new money. Whether they're farmers, whether they're retirees, whether they want to open up a business, whether they just want to live close by. Now, these aren't necessarily people right next door to him because those farms are big out there, but they could be within a couple of square miles. And I think that when those people came in, they need to go into town and they need things. People need each other's help out there. You can't just go to Home Depot. So word gets out who has what pretty quick. It's why they were policing the area and why there's so much crime.
Unbelievable.
We have a super chat here from Captain Kangaroo, and it says,
Thank you.
"Hi, can Jim confirm, does he know about the cease and desist letter, and does he have a lawyer?" Well, yes, he does. And does Jim have any liability insurance? Thank you.
As far as have I heard about it? Have I seen it on these the same stuff you guys have? Yeah, of course. Everybody's seen it. I mean, it's been shared on the internet. You guys read it on your show, Captain Kangaroo. You might want to go to the beginning of the program and watch when it's read on the show. So yeah, I've heard it. Yes, I've heard about it. I've not seen it. I've not been served with anything. And I'm very easy to get a hold of. Listen, they don't have to send a letter. They can call me. Why don't the lawyer call me? And we can go that way. Do I have a lawyer? I have a couple of lawyers. Lawyers not only that I've worked for, but also lawyers that I've retained. And you know what they told me? Ignore it. It's useless. It's not going to do anything. And by the way, a couple of buddies of mine are lawyers out in that area, already looked into this law firm. It's a complete joke. The law firm doesn't have an office. And from what I understand, the lawyer hasn't really been in a courtroom in years. He's not even healthy. And then I look into the family and I'm seeing all kinds of stuff. Yeah. So but people are all up in arms about a cease and desist letter, which by the way is the first I've ever heard of me getting in my life. So do I have a lawyer? Yeah. Why would I pay a lawyer $400 an hour to reply to a letter from a law firm in Idaho with a P.O. box? And two people that they're saying that I'm defaming. One who hasn't been seen in 40 days, and the other one that works at Costco. How much money has Candace Cooley really lost because of what I've said? Nothing. She hasn't worked in a month and a half. I'll tell you what she is losing, though, and if you people are smart, you'll see right through this, and I think you do. I think this woman thinks she's going to be an advocate. I think this woman thinks she's going to be the next Bulldog Betty or Blowjob Betty or whatever these whores' names are. And I think she thinks she's going to get a YouTube channel. Future earnings on this kid's death. We're talking about a mother that lost custody of her children. We've heard it. It's out there. A mother that didn't see her kids for quite some time, if not years, and still doesn't have custody of them. We're talking about a woman that was involved in, you talk about me, $2.6 million? Shit, if I really wanted to be a con man, I'd hire her. So why would I go to my buddy who's an attorney who would deal with any case I've ever needed to deal with and say, hey, you're my lawyer, deal with this? Because here's what these people are trying to do in the chat. These are shills for the family. If I have a lawyer, they can serve me by so if I said my lawyer is Bob Smith in Kansas City, okay? They can send a letter to Bob Smith, and if he receives it and I say that he's my legal defense, that's like being served, especially if they don't know where you live or what you do. So why make it easy for them? They've made fools out of themselves, so they can spend as much money as they want. We're going to deal with that law firm on Tuesday. But if the lawyer would like to call me, my number's right there. I'm the easiest guy in the world to get a hold of. We got a show right here. We have all these people here, and nobody's calling. Nobody's got the guts to ask the questions. You know what I mean? So hopefully that answers that man's questions.
Here's the StreamYards too, guys. Come on up.
And if he thinks I'm freaking out, Captain Kangaroo, I'm not yelling at you. This is very faint. Sometimes these ladies are hard to see. I don't have a microphone. I don't have a condenser microphone. I don't have anything that shows how loud I'm being. So I just assume I have to talk powerfully so everybody can hear me. So I'm not yelling at you. It might come across that way. Take it easy. But if you really want to take it easy, there's the PayPal.
I dropped the link to any of you guys can come up right now. I'm checking the audio in Zoom. Like I said, I've never had Zoom before.
Yeah, that's
Kaz
really
is better at this stuff
if you want to come
yeah,
up
and
first.
just somebody's. I'm sorry. There was also something about the liability insurance.
Yes.
If anybody wants to know anything about my liability insurance, if they want to know anything about my business, my phone number's there. Call me. I'm not going to sit here and explain. What do you want to know when I make a bowel movement too? You want my social security number? What do you guys think? I'm stupid? You guys don't have the balls to call me on a radio show. You don't have the balls to contact me or confront me on any of these shows, but you want to know who my insurance provider is. I'll tell you what. Why don't you show everybody? I'll tell you what. I'll tell
No,
you what.
Jim, that's
I
not
will,
what
I
he
will,
was asking, sweetie. He was just saying, do you have? He wasn't asking who it was. He was just, I think he was just concerned, did you have liability
and like
insurance?
I
That
said, if
was
you
all.
want to know who my liability insurance is through, go ahead and give me a call. And guys, I don't know if you're behind me, but I'm getting other questions a lot faster than you're reaching them off. And people are saying that I avoided that question. I guess it was a two-part question. I haven't avoided anything. You could call me up and we'll talk about it. You know what I mean? But I'll tell you what, I will release my physical address in Mississippi. I will release my insurance provider, liability insurance, if Blowhorn Betty will get in a
Hey, Doug.
if she will get in a two-piece bikini
Oh
and
my
do
God,
20,
no.
and do 25 jumping jacks on camera live. If she will do that, I'll release all that information. How about that?
I don't think so.
No,
I
you'll
don't
put
want to
me in
see
the
that.
hospital again, Jim. Don't, please. I don't want to go back to hospital.
I don't want to see that. But so let me ask you, I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, even though the Wadsworths are creepy dudes, do you think they had anything to, here's what I think. Between Montello and Lucen, we're dealing with about 90 people. Okay, maybe 94. If a kid that age is going to live there and he's going to go into the only town with food, don't you think he's just kind of socialize with the people? Yeah, maybe Kurt did groom him. Maybe he was gay when he got there. I don't care if Dylan's gay or straight. To be honest with you, Jim.
And I don't
But I
care
think
if
the
you don't. Well, hold on a second. Why does everybody have the need to say that? I don't care if he
But
was
I'm-
gay or straight. Hey, I have a lot
I
of
know
black
that.
friends. I mean, I don't
I
understand why
know that
makes
you
any
don't
sense.
care, but people
Yeah, I don't
don't
understand why
get
that
it.
matters.
But it does. But it does. It would matter on Kurt's side. But I, at the end of the day, I've been telling Kaz, I am convinced that it's Chase Venstra and his buddy. But I think I found a third friend to them that was arrested a while ago. Let me show you guys his picture real quick in case he does hit the news. Another little creeper. Oh, welcome, Kathleen. His name is, he was arrested on the Highway 80 for this like huge meth deal. Hang on, guys. I'm in the folder. It's just loading, guys. You know that I do this from a generator. Camping in the woods with the grizzly bears. Oh, here he is. Let me show you this one. I still have to laugh at the video that Cass and I watched on Chase in my last video of this guy, Chase, up in the attic for 10 hours hiding out from police with grenades. You can't make it up. Did you see that, Jim?
No. People seem to think that I watch every aspect of this case. I don't. You guys, there is, yeah. Who's that guy? Why don't you explain who that guy is, ladies?
This is Jason Edward Weston. He's in jail right now for a big meth run on Highway 80 just in Wendover.
This is beyond belief to me. Beyond belief. Let's say you have a child, 17, 18, 19 years old. And there's a lot. My parents still call me their kid, right? And you're going to put your fucking son in the desert with these animals. And I'm the fraud. I'm the guy that you're questioning. No,
Jim, but at the end of the day, do you really think that they thought the people out there were going to be like a little corner of weird people that were into that crazy stuff? Hey, Alma.
It doesn't take more than 30 seconds to go out there to see that the place is an absolute fucking zoo. I mean, did they not go? Don't they have a real estate agent? The real estate agent didn't say, hey, listen, there's 74 convicted sex offenders within 5 miles of your son. You can do it. People want to say, are you a PI? Why didn't they hire an attorney or somebody to look into what the hell was going on out there? Last I looked, they had farms in Idaho as well. Why stick that kid in Nevada? Why stick that kid on the border? It would have taken, I don't know one person that's ever bought a house for a child, with a child, let alone for a child, if he was 17 at the time. Child, and not looked at the surrounding area.
Okay, how long ago did his grandfather buy the land from this Eddie Heisberg or Heisbeck or whatever his name is?
I don't know the exact date of the purchase, and I don't even want to guess because people say it was 2.5 years ago. It was 4 years ago. Well, he leased it and it wasn't paid off. Let's just say it was some time ago, but that kid had been out there for a couple of years. I know that much. and he's 19, what does that tell you? I mean, even if he was 18, would you let you have kids? I don't know if you have kids or not. You have children?
No, I don't have any children.
Okay, how about our girl in Australia? You got any children?
Yeah,
I'm trying to pin it.
I've got a daughter.
How many children do you have?
I have one 40-year-old daughter.
When your daughter was 20, 25, 30, would you want her out there in this place with people like this? I mean, wouldn't you at least do the due diligence to look into the type of human beings that are out there? And by the way, assholes, and I'm not talking to you guys, if you're gonna fucking buy a farm for somebody, chances are you're gonna need labor. You're probably gonna want to make sure there's a labor pool in the area. Here's your labor pool. Here's your labor pool with a kid who looks like he's 12. There's nothing pedophile like of age person. I mean, it's just so nauseating. You could tell I'm annoyed by it. How fucking stupid do you have to be?
Yeah.
He looks. It's sad. He looks like he's 13 years old. I mean, I honestly, this is him right here. Oh,
the guy with the mask? Oh, there you go. Yeah, there you go. There you go. There's another guy.
No. I'm showing you Aviles.
Well, you've also showed us the other two guys, too. There's 3 of the 200 people that are out there.
Yeah.
I mean, what percentage is that of the area? And those aren't even residents. You just showed us Arvelius, Chase, and whoever that guy was with the beard. Those are 3 of the people that are out there. And by the way, he knew all of them.
Yeah.
So what? When you spoke to Ty, the one part that I did not hear from the alpaca farmer was, did he ever meet Dylan in town in Montello? Look at this creeper. Look at him.
Yeah.
And let me show you what meth did to him. Let me show you a picture when he looked healthy. I tell you guys, meth will kill you. So here he is now. He's Kaz. How many profiles does this guy have on social media? He's like the social media, like hunker.
Oh, it's a social media whore. He's got about 5 or 6.
Yeah, he's all over. Don't even.
He kept
He's
changing
all
them.
over. But look at the difference that a year and a half did to this man.
Is that him in the top right corner? And then that's him?
You leave my little godchild alone. That's Aurora.
Where's
She's now
the
in the
two
Rainbow
pictures?
Bridge. Here, this is what he looked like before he got hooked on meth. Look at how much it changed him.
That's
Amazing.
sad. How does somebody even get to that point? Very, very sad.
Well, from what I've heard, meth one what they call it, a tote on that stuff, and you've gone.
I've never done it. I'm not even sure I've ever seen it. And I have one more picture of him laying. Where is he? I've never seen meth.
I've seen it in documentaries.
I didn't
somebody
save
in
that
chat
picture.
asked, do we have a photo of James Brenner? No, we don't. I've hunted high and low, and I've not been able to find one as yet.
I have not looked
They've
yet.
started arresting a hell of a lot of people out there with previous warrants that they probably would not have arrested. All these people would still be on the desert. I was going to say on the street, but in the desert. All these people would still be out of there if this kid didn't do that. And you know what's really concerning? You know how I don't have anything in this case, at least the family doesn't, is because the father has been sitting in his truck in downtown watching bars for the last few days, and he's left. He's got other kids.
Let me also say, I forgot what I was just going to say, but I got a phone call from Miss Lucen again. And she told me that
from whom?
She said to me, she says, I've known Don for a long time. I've known Jim Brenner for a long time. Dylan is a nice kid. But she did mention that Dylan was getting the water out of the stream because of something with the water. I don't know about the salt, whatever. But she also said that Dylan was putting out, what are they called, Kaz? Those things you put into to absorb the salt to get the soil ready.
Desalinizers. Oh, and we have Black Dove.
And what else?
Let me answer.
Wait, Jim, wait. I got there. My brain cell just kicked in. She said, I know Don, I know Jim, I know Dylan, I know them all. She goes, if I was going to say if anyone had a bad temper, she said Jim Brenner's temper was hot.
I believe it. I mean, I believe it. By the way, you just had a question on the bottom. Do you want to read that? I don't want people to think that I'm not asking these questions.
Hey, human
Sure,
animal, look at how cute she is. Hey,
All right,
girl.
we've got Rachel had a question. She said, Jim, can you answer your phone? Kathleen has been trying to call you. She knows quite a lot.
Well, she can know whatever she wants. My phone's right here, and I don't have one missed call from her. I don't have one missed call from anybody. If she's calling my Mississippi number, I don't have it in the same room, but I'll give her a call immediately after the show. I'd love to speak to her. Her and I have a lot to talk about. I've called her twice this weekend, have not heard from her.
Okay, thanks.
She should try the StreamYard link. You just click the link and bring you right in, Kathleen Williams. Anyway, howdy from Australia. I just thought I'd call in because no one was coming in, and I just wanted to say hello to the beautiful ladies, Kaz and Ma.
Hi, how are you, darling?
I'm good. Yeah,
Hey,
a bit under the weather. I hope I sound all right.
You're so pretty.
So I just wanted to say that I concur with a private investigator, Jim Terry, on one point, because I've already made this point myself. You just look at the area, you look at the town, you look at what's going on, you think, well, what sort of research does one do before one sends a teenaged boy into an isolated area like this? You know, when you want to move your family, yourself, you know, you look at where you're going to go, what's around, what would it really be like to live there, who are you going to be interacting with, what's daily life really going to be like. And it makes more sense that perhaps grandfather owned the land well before Dylan was coming up to the end of his high school years. And it's just been perhaps a convenient opportunity to then couple him with that land there and send him out there without really any thought. Some people don't think the way others do in these sorts of regards. They don't use that forethought, and they don't do that type of due diligence because, you know, it was very, very foolish. Good points about, well, who's going to be the Labor? Dylan's been out there being Labor. He's proven himself, as a very good worker, as someone with probably problem-solving ability, knows how to run the equipment. Now, most farmers that are successful in Australia, especially big stations, even market gardens, they actually have tertiary educations. They go and they study, they get university degrees to know how to do it properly. But you don't need this. But look at the land. It's a wasteland with wasted people, and it's dangerous. It's, you know, there are people that would be probably, you know, along the line of Laurie Cox's father, you know, this type of I'm into the sovereign thing and, you know,
but
this, that.
One thing not trying to interrupt you, but one thing let me say that I find so sad is that Miss Lucen has got beautiful land to the point where the University of Utah comes to her land to grow potatoes. So I know that you can get the land good, but when you look at the map and you look at where Dylan is on that map, it's like he's just like at the beginning of that salt flat above Bonneville. So it's like the white, I don't know.
Yeah.
But one more question real quick that you had, human animal, and Jim can answer this. How long did Dylan's grandpa own this land, Jim, before Dylan came out from Eddie Heisberg?
Well, I have no idea how long the grandfather officially owned the land. I don't want to give a date because then people start picking it apart. Well, when did the land close? Did he lease it first? I'm not going to get into that. What I will tell you is it wasn't towards the end of his high school years. Dylan Rounds never made it out of his freshman year. He never made it out of his freshman year of high school. He had at least 3 years left. And according to a couple of people that I talked to, he really wasn't even going much. I released a call on another channel a couple of days ago with a woman who actually was close, extremely close to this kid. So was the man that she's engaged to. Was almost like a stepfather, helped raise him for almost 10 years. And basically what they said is he stopped going at around his freshman year. His grandmother was a school teacher. She tried to get that kid to go through school. He wasn't interested. So maybe there was a lot of reasons. Maybe it had nothing to do with him maybe being gay. Maybe they just didn't want the fact that he was a high school dropout at age 15 to be known in their community. I mean, guys, people act like they're not embarrassed. people act like they don't have secrets. And then when those secrets come out, they act like, well, they try to discredit the person that finds those things. Let's not forget, I was hired despite the parents. I was hired to find out information and bring it back to the grandparents and the aunt, Miss Wells, despite the mother and the father. In fact, it was me, and I have the text messages. I released some pictures from it. I released some text messages the other day. I will release more as time goes on to stretch this out a little bit. But I can tell you that they basically told me, she's a whack job. We need you to tell us what's going on. She's handling the case. She's putting herself in the forefront. And by the way, she doesn't even have custody of this kid. She's the one that's in charge of this investigation, and she dropped her kids off at the husband's house and didn't show back up for 3.5 years. Do a quick Google search.
Was she running away from being an abused partner? We don't know.
But you know,
yeah,
another
I
thing
didn't
that
hear what she
bothers
said. I'm
me
sorry,
though,
the lady
Jim,
with the
if he
scarf.
was,
What
if
did she
his
say?
dad, oh, we're having a little lag. Hang on.
what I said, Jim Terry, was sometimes when women leave, they leave anonymously and quickly and silently because they're sometimes in an abused relationship and they get out that way. I don't agree with leaving children though. We don't know her situation, and
Well, hold
hopefully
on. Well, let's
it's
attack
irrelevant.
that.
It
I mean,
seems
you
more
make a very-
likely that
You make a very
Yes,
good point. You make a very good point. Let's say she's in the most abusive relationship in her life. She had custody of the kids, and she didn't call the kids. I don't think her kids are beating the shit out of her. Why couldn't she have a court order and get visitation for her kids? You could do that at a public place, or you could get your children if they're underage at a certain situation. So I don't buy that. So then if he's that abusive and he's that bad, she should have had full custody.
It's just a theory, Jim. It's
I'm
just,
sorry?
it's just one of 100 reasons we could come up with. Since you don't know,
I don't
stop
know.
pretending like you have
I
the
don't know that she
definitive
lost
answer.
custody of her children. She lost custody of her children. Why do you think that was?
Who knows? Because she didn't care to fight it. She felt like she couldn't. We don't know.
Right.
All right, let's
I like
hear
your
from
scarf.
Black Dove.
I like your
Sorry,
scarf
Human
and your
Emma.
hat. I think your accent's cute.
You're not cute. You're
I
far.
mean-
Oh, come on, no fighting. I'll put
I
you
am
two in the
cute.
corner.
We're all too cute for you, Jim.
I believe
All
it.
right.
I don't see
All
a
right,
ring on
Black-
your finger, honey. Where's your husband? Yeah,
All
I didn't
right,
think so.
Yeah,
Next
maybe he's 6
caller.
foot under. Yeah.
At least she could work the Zoom call. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
Black Dove, are you
just
there?
on a serious note about suspects, if I might. One very obvious thing has to be that, Dylan's gone down there to park his grain truck. This is where the squatter is. The squatter's taken umbrage with the fact that, he's going to have to be moved on.
That's not true.
Dylan shouldn't be having to be there negotiating these things on his own. He's, so vulnerable. These people are hardcore. They've come in from Europe and now they're running an international airport in the middle of nowhere. I mean, this is
Wait a
crazy
second.
shit. And
Wait a second.
Hang on,
He
Human Animal. Hang on,
has
split
to
up.
be-
Hang on. Human Animal, hang on a minute. Black Dove wants to say something. Hang on. Go on.
Can everybody hear me clearly?
Yeah, go
Yes.
Black Dove.
Hello,
Okay.
Blackjack.
Blackjack, yeah. Black Dove,
Dove.
Blackjack.
Like the
Oh,
bird.
Black Dove.
Okay. So Ivo Zdarsky, the guy who came from Eastern Europe, he is one of the few permanent residents of Lucin. He is not a shady character either.
not a squatter, yeah.
No,
I
he's not a
spoke to
squatter.
I spoke to Ivo on the phone.
He seems like a real interesting dude. However,
Yeah.
the squatter, James Brenner, who was living on Dylan's property, was technically a squatter, but he was moved there by somebody else. And Dylan, I guess, knew of his existence, and he also had a key to the gate that led to Dylan's farm. So
Okay.
James Brenner, who's now been taken into custody on federal firearms charges, is, yes, he's a squatter because he doesn't have land rights, but also he was known to everybody in town, and he was moved to Dylan's property, according to a local, to act as quote-unquote security for that property. And the other interesting thing about James Brenner is that he has a hot temper, and he was known,
Yes.
according to the locals, to shoot at people who were traveling to the sun tunnels and took a wrong turn and went towards Dylan's property. So he was a
That's
known
horror
person.
film stuff.
Pardon?
That's kind of horror film stuff, you know. You take a wrong turn, sort of thing, and
That is what
suddenly
Lucen said.
you're on another planet.
Well, he's
But
a
sorry,
known
yes,
side
so
type
not
character.
Lucen International person. Thank you.
Out of
He's an
everyone out
Elmer.
there, Miss Lucen did say that Jim Brenner has a temper.
And so did Michael Moore, the other Lucen local who called in the other day to another show.
Okay.
But he was
at the
known
end
to
of
Dylan.
the day, yeah, but I would, like I said in my video, if Dylan and Kurt, here's what I feel. I feel that maybe Dylan and Kurt were having a relationship, and if they were, it's almost like maybe Kurt is denying it because maybe the relationship actually started before Dylan turned 18. That's sad. That's horrible to even think.
Did you listen to the interview with Kurt Wadsworth on
Yes.
Okay. Did you listen to the very end?
I think so.
Did you hear the part where Kurt said that if he found out that Dylan was gay, he would disavow him and ditch him?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Ty Corbin, the alpaca guy, as he's become known, he called in today to another show and he opined on that, also making a plea for help to get people to come and search next weekend. He's organizing a search party. He said at first, he was like, Kurt, if you want to bury the hatchet, just come out here and search. I've seen your motorcycle tracks. I know you've been coming out here to search. But then he asked towards the end of the call, did Kurt really say that if Dylan was gay, he would disavow him and get rid of him? And I'm gay, by the way. So I think I'm uniquely qualified to opine on this particular instance. And then Ty Corbin said,
Oh, sorry. I'll say it in a minute. I just had a thought.
Well, when Ty Corbin got confirmation that Kurt Wadsworth had said that if Dylan was gay, he would ditch him, Ty Corbin rescinded his offer and said, no, F you, Kurt. Don't come out here then. If that's how you really feel, just go away.
Well, maybe, but then again, Kurt, Ty Corbin said that he will tell you that he believes that Kurt is gay. He had a relationship with a man that was living somewhere, and I'm like, oh God, don't put that guy's name up.
California.
Everyone on YouTube is going to be calling him. Yeah.
It was California.
I heard it. Black Dove,
yeah,
yes.
And I believe
Black Dove is speaking.
After listening to the call with Kurt, I believe he's also in the closet gay. Very, very deeply in the closet to the point he's finding Christmas presents. Like, that's...
Yeah, I've been cutting hair for 30 years. I have a lot of gay friends, so. Give me that Twinkie.
Twinkie, right? Twink.
Guys,
this just all makes me think that Jim Terry wrote his own cease and desist letter, right? Because for the publicity. That's just the thought that I had. I don't know.
I just wanted to let everybody know that I put this scarf on not only because I'm cold, but it's to hide my Adam's apple.
So, Black Dove, what do you think happened to Dylan? If you were just to come up with what you think, scenario of what you think.
Based on everything that I've heard, I think Chase Venstra probably killed him. I'm hoping that's not the case. But there's other players involved, and the other players are relevant, like James Brenner. He's a relevant person. So is Robert Aviles. Robert Aviles was giving Chase rides to Dylan's area from Montello. And this is confirmed by both Kurt Wadsworth on voice and by Ty Corbin on voice. So there's little doubt in my mind that Robert Aviles has some part to play in this, whether it's the cover-up or whatever happened. Like, I think everybody's going down all these rabbit holes for, land rights and competing farmers, and there was this big conspiracy to kill Dylan or something. I think it was more like it happened, and then there's a big conspiracy to cover up what happened.
Bingo.
I agree.
Bingo.
I agree with you.
You got to vet everybody. You got to vet everybody. You got to look at everybody involved, and you got to cross them off. What people don't realize is I'm not still working on the case. I worked on the case for like a total, because I started looking at the text message. I'm like, when did they send that to me? It was a month ago. So my knowledge of this is into a corridor of about 2 weeks, let's say, which the first 4 or 5 days I was told not to speak to the parents. The grandparents actively told me every day, we can't let you talk to the mother. We can't put the father on the phone. The reason we don't want the father on the phone is he's got enough on his mind. He's going crazy. He wants to kill people. Father wanted to go out there. The father wanted to go out there and smash people. The mother was such a whack job. They didn't want me talking to her because they didn't want her being in charge, and they hired me despite her. So what happened was you got this dynamic, and finally I said, listen, you got to get him on the phone. From the moment that mother knew that I was in charge, the moment she knew that the money behind this family was looking to me, she wanted me out. Because the grandparents are the only ones with the money here and their side of the family, which is Justin Rounds, but not Candace Cooley. Candace Cooley's remarried. Candace Cooley's already had a wedding a year ago.
Why would she care?
I'm sorry?
Why would she care? So why would she care about the in-laws' money? She's got no track to it. It's completely illogical. Did you write your own cease and desist letter, Jim?
Yeah.
Here you go, Jim. You got a question.
Yes.
You have a question on the bottom, Jim.
You know, Mr. Twink and that sort of thing, right?
You can tell I wrote it because I spelled my name wrong.
Yeah.
Jim, DD Girl says, in your opinion, are Chase, Robert, James members of the militia?
Okay, let's just do this one more time. I used the word militia because I was incorrect in saying militia. I should have said vigilante group, because when people think militia, they think that these assholes are in the desert marching around with uniforms on. He says in his interview, Kurt Wadsworth with that big moon face lady with the sausage fingers, he basically says, listen, no, that private investigator's nuts. I'd like to kick his ass. We didn't have no militia. We didn't have no vigilante group. We just had to go around and police the desert from tweakers that were stealing from us. That's exactly what a fucking vigilante group is. If I take, he called it a neighborhood watch, which, by the way, is a neighborhood full of pedophiles and people that don't even own their own land. So let me get this straight. And we've all probably lived in subdivisions. I don't know how it is in Australia. I'm not joking. I don't know if you have this. But I can tell you in the United States of America, when we were growing up, there were signs all over, neighborhood watch. And it was a bunch of parents that would call the cops if somebody came in. They weren't marching around cul-de-sacs. They weren't marching around cul-de-sacs with machine guns. They weren't putting buckshots into people if they were camping outside of their houses. So that's exactly what it is. Do I think
just
Dylan
get kangaroos, Jim?
Do I think Dylan Rounds was of the militia? Is that the vigilante group? Is that what they're asking? Guys?
No, the question was, do you think that Chase and all of them were in the militia group?
Chase and Kurt Wadsworth hated each other.
Were protecting their property from Chase and all of them.
Chase and the Wadsworths hated each other more than you could possibly imagine, so they didn't do anything together. I think the Wadsworths and their little crew did what they had to do for people like Chase and Arvelius and some of these other people that are out there.
Now, Jim, if I'm not mistaken, did the owner of the bar say that when he showed up with his mother, that his mother was also bad news, or she was just, do you believe anything she says?
Whose mother? Kurt Wadsworth's mother?
No. Robert Aviles, because I looked her his mother up, and she's the one staying on another farmer's land right now.
She's staying on another farmer's land. She's staying on another farmer's land right now because somebody tried to kick her off a bike, and that's why. And she's staying in Ty Corbin. Everybody knows that. He's already admitted that on her other shows.
Well, I didn't want to say names.
Well, she's been staying there for weeks. And by the way, my cell phone, somebody in the chat room keeps saying somebody's trying to call me. I don't have anybody trying to call me. I don't know what they're referring to. Maybe they think they got somebody that
do you have the right? You only have 12 cell phones. Do you have the right cell phone with you?
I have 2 cell phones. I have the 813-993-2242 that's been associated with my business from the beginning. I have a Mississippi number. The Mississippi number's in the other room, but I'm sure they know my real number. If not, it's right here on the bottom of the screen for the last couple of hours. They could call me there. Guys, I got about 4 minutes and I got to jump off the thing.
Me too, because my generator's doing good. So me and the Violet said I'm going to send you a carton of Twinkies, Jim.
I'm good. I've had all the Twinkie I can handle. Let me ask you guys a question. For Americans that don't know, and I'm curious about this. What who is the president of Australia? Who's in charge of Australia?
We have a prime minister. We don't have a president per se.
And who is that person?
Oh, to be
Senior
honest,
Sergeant Blair.
no, that was the English guy.
I
We just
know,
had
I
an
know.
election. It was Morrison, but he's called Debonese. He's horrible.
Okay.
All right,
let me ask you this. I was
no
told by a
thanks,
buddy,
links, guys.
I was told by a buddy of mine that lived in Australia for a few years. He did something with a television program down there, that 80 or 90% of the country lives on the coast.
Correct.
That 80 to 90% of the country is really not even inhabited by people. Is that true?
Well, yes, yeah. The majority of the people live on the coastal fringe because, like in the States, we have a lot of barren, uninhabitable land that's owned by the Aboriginal people that people don't live on. It's owned by the Aboriginal people, and it is extremely hot. It is desert, and you can't grow things out there. So very few people live out there.
But in the States, we have areas in the middle of the country, but it's like St. Louis. I mean, there's a lot of people there. I mean, we have little pockets where there's nobody, let's say in the Pacific Northwest or whatever, because it's forest. I just didn't realize how much of that country there was nobody in. Is there more people in Canada or Australia?
We only have 23 million people.
So the
There's more
city of
people
New
in
York.
And
Florida
they
than
are mainly
Australia.
on the eastern seaboard. There are, major cities in every sort of region. But yeah, they're mostly on the eastern seaboard, the southern end of the west coast, and the bottom of Australia, what's known as the Bight. Yeah, and that's just how that is. But we have outback towns. We have a lot of mining. We do have people trying to run stations out in, the middle of nowhere. We had a Chinese company come in and run the oldest dairy station in Australia. It existed for many, many generations. They bought it and then they starved out the cattle, were milking them when they'd had no water for days. They were just leaving them dying in ditches. It's a disgrace what happens in Australia politically. We, probably, Kaz probably knows, we are very reluctant to talk politics online about Australia. So
Because China bought Australia.
About it.
Well, listen, before I jump off here, I want to say, listen, we joke around on the show. Hopefully I didn't offend you. I just want to say, living in Australia, you're the most beautiful girl I've ever seen in my life. I really wanted to tell you that.
Well, I told you Jim had little hearts in his eyeballs when she came on. I could see it. He was
no. What the fuck are you? I'm talking to Kaz. What the fuck are you guys talking? I'm talking to Kaz.
Okay, guys, this is no thanks link.
Are talking about? I'm talking to Kaz.
Let's all head over to
you smooth talker.
She's beautiful.
Big kisses.
Oh, look at she's blushing. Humanimal.
No, I'm just taking it all in,
That's okay, because listen, I'll take Jim with me when I go visit Kaz. I'll just bring him on my private jet with me.
We'll bring him down to your place, human animal. We'll bring him down to you. I'm on the top end. I'll bring him down to you.
So, guys, thank you for coming in. Oh, hey.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I guess we're
got my PI hat on. How do I
let me talk to I'm Blacked Up for a minute. See, Black, I believe that Dylan moved out there. Why he went there, I'm not going to assume anything, so I don't assume. I think there's not much to do there. I think he went into the town, ate dinner, food, hung out, and he met the locals. What him and Kurt had going on, I don't know. But I think this is going to come down to Chase, Eddie. I keep calling him Eddie. Bobby, and maybe Jim, and maybe the fourth one. I think they all know what's going on.
You mean
and hopefully
Don?
One's going to talk. No, not Don. I don't think Don was involved.
Anything to do with it. It's James Brenner, Dylan, and
not
Robert
Dylan.
Aviles.
Chase, Bobby, and Jim Brenner.
But who was the fourth one you were talking about?
Well, the one that Jim said, I have to go. I'm going to hang up now, and Kaz and I are going to go to work. I never heard of him. What was his name again? The fourth one, Matt, Mike.
Uh-oh, the generator's just cut out. What she was dreading would happen has just happened, guys.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, she has been hanging out for the electricity people to come and finish installing the electricity connection to her place for weeks now. And they've been hanging off, and she's been running off a blinking generator, and it keeps overheating, and it's going through connectors like you wouldn't believe. So that's what's just happened. It's conked out.
If it's a gas powered generator like ours, like a propane one, you got to change the oil every 72 hours or something.
Yeah, it is a gas and oil generator, and it's going through the oil like you wouldn't believe. But what's happening is there's a small, There's a small. It has smoils in there. The connected to the spark plug. Here she comes. She's going to come up on a phone. The spark plug connector has got a copper wire that does the spark, and it's eating through it like you wouldn't believe. So hang on, let me bring her up. Hang on. She'll be on the phone now.
Hey guys, yeah, on my phone.
Yeah, I said the generator's gone.
Well, yeah, the generator is out of oil because I'm not overloading it because I thought I was blowing out spark plugs, but I'm gonna make a YouTube video, guys, how I bypassed my magnitude starter.
Black Dove just
all right, guys, I want to thank you all for
actually
coming in. Black Dove, I want to talk to you. Can you email us, Kaz and I?
What are your email addresses?
It's
We only
the
have
channel
one.
MonkieMar True Crime at Gmail.
MonkieMar True Crime at Gmail. Okay, and you can forward that?
Yeah,
I'll
Kaz
put it
and I
up
get
on
the
the
email.
screen. Hang on, I'll pop it on the screen. Hang on a second.
I can't really see it because I'm doing this through the StreamYard thing, and I'm on my phone.
Well, she can put it in. Oh, okay. MonkieMar True Crime at Gmail. It's in the description of all my videos.
Okay. Yeah. I'll hit you up with an email right after this call then.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming up. I've seen you on a few streams. You're great, Black Dove.
Thank you.
Kaz, I'm gonna say goodnight, everyone. Thank you for coming in. Stay safe. Keep your baby safe and stay vigilant. Kaz, can you close out the live? And it was nice talking to you, Black Dove.
Likewise.
Okay, guys. Love all. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.